Hi everybody, it's Jane Hamill from fashionbrainacademy.com. Welcome to how to go from creative idea in your head to actual sales of a product. Whether you are designing apparel, accessories, jewelry, handbags, baby products, children's, hair accessories, whatever it is, we're going to show you the steps involved to getting a business off the ground and running, okay? So what I notice is, I meet a lot of designers and they're really, really smart. They have this creative idea. That's an eco-friendly light bulb right there. And they have, they just have creativity just booming. And they want to get over here to have a business, right? They want to have a nice, happy life with their business and, everything's cool. And what happens is they want to start and they get going and they go, oh crap, big, huge, gaping well. And they can fall right in there they're lacking the information they need to go from, it's in my head, I know what I want to do, to actually getting it done and implementing their plan and creating a product and getting it to market. And it's very complicated and it's tricky. It's exciting and it's fun, but unless you've been through this process, the information is not really readily available. So I'm just going to give you the steps, okay, and try to make this clear up some of the confusion about that it's so hard. It really isn't that hard. It's just you take it step by step and you go, all right? So I don't want this video to be like 2 hours long. I want to get through this pretty quick, so I can't give you the details on everything. And some of you will get what you need today, and that's great, and some of you will want more. So I promise you at the end of the video, I'll tell you how to get more if you need more information. Okay, so let's start with the first step. The first step that I work with designers, and I tell everybody, and I didn't used to do this, but I've learned over the years that this is what people really need and appreciate and get a lot of value out of, it's going to sound a little basic, but it's making your business a priority. Why that? Of course it's a priority. I mean, it sounds kind of silly, right? Even writing, I'm like, oh gosh, I hope these people understand what I'm trying to say here. Making your business a priority means not being able to do everything, not being able to continue whatever you've been doing and start a new business. Now, I understand a lot of people, and myself included, start working on their new business while they have another job, a day job. Totally normal, totally fine, and you can do it. But it's all those other things that you've been doing that may have to take a back seat for a while when you're starting a new business. So if you're a mompreneur and you have kids, kids can't take a back seat. We all know that, right? But being on the PTA and volunteering for things and helping with other things that you've been involved in might have to wait 6 months or a year while you very, very much focus your time and energy and resources on something new, okay? That's a mistake I see people make all the time. Number 2 is you want to set the foundation for your business. So that involves, knowing what licenses you need and how to get them, looking at your competition, who's your ideal client, doing some research, going shopping. That sucks, right? Not so much. Are you going to niche it down a little bit, looking into, how much is going to cost you, what's your timeline, that kind of thing. The next thing you do after you set the foundation for your business is you look at the money, okay? And you look at how much is this going to cost me? How do I plan? How long can I live without turning a profit? How long do I expect that to take? How long, can I do some estimated sales, costing and pricing of your line? All of those kinds of things, okay? It's an important one, and a lot of designers try to ignore it, but you're not allowed. You're not allowed. You must do it. So, number 4, how to find fabrics and suppliers, okay? So if you're doing jewelry, you're going to need gemstones or whatever you make. You're going to need chains. You're going to need metals. You're going to need, for apparel, you're going to need zippers, and for bags, you're going to need, maybe you need leather. Where do you find all this stuff at a wholesale price so you can ultimately be making money when you sell things, right? Number 5, and when we get to this one, I do offer some actual businesses to tell you, like, I suggest you should try them. This is where you can find this kind of wool or this kind of, pleather or whatever it is, okay? The next thing is, how do you find a manufacturer Or are you going to do it yourself? And how long can you do that? And are you going to make the first samples and all of that? Where do you find a sewing contractor? Who's going to make your jewelry? Who's going to do your bags? All of those things, okay? And it's not that everybody needs to go to China right away and get things made. You know, what can you realistically do to get this product to market, all right? And then you're going to need to know your selling tools. You're going to have to prepare your line to sell, and that includes things like a line sheet, a lookbook, an order form, and you need to know what goes on the order form and what you should leave off. You need to have like style numbers and get your line organized so when you're ready to approach a buyer, it looks like you're in business, okay? It separates, the hobbyists from actually really, really wanting to start a business. And the next thing goes sales, baby. Get out there and sell your stuff. How do you do it? How do you approach a buyer? How do you craft an email to a retailer? Those kinds of things without embarrassing yourself or seeming like you just got off the boat. What do you do? And what's the best way to get in? So that's the steps. Let's just recap in 1 second. First, you make your business a priority. You make sure you carve out time in your already busy schedule to work on this stuff. And you set a plan. Make the foundation, talk about the money, costing, pricing, how much it's going to need, where to find these wholesale fabrics and suppliers, how are you going to get it made, the importance of a first sample, your selling tools, and ultimately approaching buyers and selling. What's the best way to do that? Okay, that's how it works. So hopefully that serves you and makes some sense and kind of clears up some of the confusion about what step happens and what to do first, second, third. So now I'm going to do, like I promised in the beginning, I'm going to tell you how to get more, okay? A lot of people, for some of you, this will be enough. You say, okay, I get it. I get the idea. I'm good. And some people say, well, but Jane, I don't know how to set the foundation. I don't even know what I should be doing. And what I found was, remember when I had that picture of you, the black hole, and then the business, if you don't have the steps, the recipe of how to do this, it can be so overwhelming and so hard. And it's confusing for people. And when people get confused, sometimes they just don't do anything. They just stop. And they don't know where to go, so they just kind of stop acting and taking imperfect action towards your goal of having this business and running a successful business. And that's what I want to try to avoid, because designers get frustrated. We all get frustrated. I want to help you through the tricky learning curve process of this. And so I've developed a totally do-it-yourself online program where you can have access to the 7 steps, all the different ones, and how to do it. And it's all online, and as soon as you decide if you want to sign up, you get everything tonight. So I don't suggest you do it all tonight, but it comes in the form of videos like this, audios, essays and articles, PDFs, cheat sheets, worksheets, everything you need to know, a costing sheet, all of that stuff, and actual real-life examples of what's happening in the market right now, so you can just see, like, here's a purchase order, this is what it looks like. Here's what a line sheet looks like, this is how you might want to do yours, okay? So it goes through all of these steps, and you can totally do it yourself at your own pace. Depending on your product niche, you should be able to do, if you're doing a simpler product, and it's not a women's line or something, it's designed to go from creative idea to actual sales in 90 days. Okay, so you watch these trainings as slow or as fast as you want to, and you do it on your own pace, and you fill out the sheets on your own time, and you'll learn a tremendous amount. The feedback from this has been awesome. I'm really, really honored and happy and psyched that people are really being helped by this, and that's my goal. I struggled as a designer for a really long time. I made it. I had made a great living, and that's what I want for you. I had a store too. I sold to major department stores. I sold to little boutiques. I did it all. I did bridesmaids. I had baby blankets. You name it. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and luckily, I worked really hard. I had good mentors who taught me how to do stuff, and it worked out great. That's what I want for you. So if you're thinking that you're ready to move forward, consider this program. Again, you can sign up. If you sign up now, you get everything today, okay? So you can start tonight on the first step. We can offer a payment plan, and all the details should be below in the print. There's no weird, funny catch or anything. it's just the information. It's valuable for you to get you from creative idea to actual sales. If you want to get there faster, let's do it. I'm here to help. Thank you so much.